Well, let's get to our first conversation. We know that 12th of August each year is the International Youth Day, which brings global attention to the challenges and opportunities facing young people. Spearheaded by the UN DESER, IYD celebrates youth's contribution to all aspects of global development. The theme of this year's IYD Local Youth Action for the SDGs and Beyond highlights the unique role of youths in translating global ambitions into community-driven realities. As development partners work to translate and implement the global goals within specific local contexts, aligning them with community needs while maintaining consistency with national and international commitments, young people are critical partners that bring creativity, insights, and deep community ties that help bridge the gap between policy and practice. With over 65% of SDG targets linked to local governance, youth engagement is not a luxury, it is a necessity. The 2025 IYD also underscores the essential roles of local and regional government, being the closest to the communities they serve. They are uniquely positioned to create inclusive policy environments, allocate resources, and establish mechanisms for youth participation in local planning and decision-making. Dr. Femi Oladele is lead coach by Meristem. He joins me live from our Abuja studios. Dr. Oladele, good afternoon,
so much.
And thank you for joining the program.
Good afternoon, sir. Thank you. It's a pleasure, sir.
Yes, I think we should start with the IYD 2025. Maybe I should ask you in your generality, or your general thoughts, what's your sense with the role of youths, particularly in Nigeria at this time? What do you make of their contribution to economic development and growth?
Thank you so much, and this is very significant. And the truth is that even if we look at the general statistics that we have for young people with regards to even the age brackets that we have, for the UN, for example, we have 15 to 24. In Nigeria, by the National Youth Policy, it extends a little bit from 18 to 29. Even within that age bracket, we see that that's the significant number that are in higher institutions, and at this time, with respect to business development, they are the ones doing most of the great stuff that is happening in the tech space, in agriculture, even in fashion, in health, and in medicine. So it's a significant contribution that Nigerian youths are adding. They're adding significant value, economically, politically even, and in every wise. The contributions of young people cannot be underestimated generally. And I think that that's why this year they're looking at how we could use how young people, celebrating how young people have been contributing to the achievement of the SDGs and see how we can do more in that space. So generally, yes, significantly young people are contributing to economic, political, social, and other areas of our nation. And I must differentiate. I'm running away from using youth and using young people because, you know, the age bracket I mentioned, I know, Tolu, you would also think that you're a young man, but we could say you're a young person, but you're not a youth by definition. And so it's good to clarify that too.
All right, then. It's a good way to start this conversation. The theme of this year is Local Youth Actions for SDGs and Beyond. Can you also tell us what you think about this theme?
Yeah, so generally, you know, we have less than, I would use less than because it's 2025 already. We have less than 5 years to the end of the SDGs, that's 2030. And so we still have significant gaps with respect to all of the goals, all of the 16 goals, including the 17th, which is partnership. We still have poverty in the land. Our educational systems are still very low, and you see what happened with JAMB, with WAEC, and all of that. We also have shortage in water. Climate change is still an issue. So Nigeria has, as a country, has not really achieved so much. And so we're looking at not just importing foreign solutions, but bringing up local local solutions to meet our local realities and see how young people can accelerate the pace. Yes, it's less than 5 years, but we know that we could do significantly higher within that space. I think last week I was invited by 8th Gear Hub in Lagos to facilitate a seminar on helping young people who have businesses to understand how their businesses can plug into the SDGs and also accelerate the achievement of the SDGs. And it was a fun time, a good learning experience. And so I believe that this team speaks generally to what young people can do, what they have been doing, how they can accelerate that and see more impacts in that space, especially with respect to the most significant challenges that we have, which is hunger. We also have poverty in the land. Our educational system, I talked about that, infrastructure, entrepreneurship, the ecosystem generally, seeing how we can enlarge it and ensure that many people come into the ecosystem and also see how we can grow contributions from young people. And I must say that there are many Nigerian and even African young people that should be celebrated as we look at local impacts and local acceleration of growth, business development. But there are also many areas that are challenging that we should highlight as well. And so usually we would see that this is an opportunity for us to highlight those challenges that present opportunities for us as young people to see where we can plug in our businesses and achieve the SDGs. Generally, the SDGs, they are good for every country, but we shouldn't import foreign solutions. And so localizing those solutions, localizing the challenges, looking at local realities and the opportunities that we have, I believe it's a very great step in the right direction. And I believe that many, throughout within that day alone, and before and after, you would have seen many organizations, ecosystem players, seeing how young people can be celebrated, how they can be spotlighted, and how they can also accelerate their growth in the business arena. So I believe that it's a good one.
But how are governments, in your assessment, at all levels, trying as much as possible to create an inclusive environment, a conducive environment, allocating resources for youth to be able to carry them along in local planning and development?
Yes, that's fine. I would start from the federal government. The federal government is doing a lot for young people generally, not even in the business sense alone. We have NEL Fund for and I'm not speaking as a politician here, but we have NEL Fund for those in school. We have the work that Credit Corp is doing with respect to making people gain access to consumer loans. We also have different MSME supports that the federal government has done. So I would say with respect to tackling some of the challenges of businesses, especially by young people, the federal government is doing its bit. But I must say that there are still strategic challenges that are peculiar. So government bureaucracy, that has not been resolved. So young people still have issues accessing some government services that normally should be easy to access. Power is still a problem. Internet is expensive. Security is a challenge, and we have infrastructural issues. So those challenges are there, but I believe that the government is doing some, especially in the areas of access to finance, working with other stakeholders to ensure that young people have access to finance to accelerate their businesses. For state governments, it's not the same. It's not blankets. Some state governments are doing so well. For example, in Lagos State, we have the LSCTF. They are doing fantastic. I was even able to facilitate a financial literacy training at Agege at the WDC, where it was on-the-spot assessment and loan disbursement. You bring your idea, they assess it on the spot, and you get your loans. So some state governments are doing that. Oyo is also doing something. Kwara is doing something in that area, especially with the Ilorin hub, the innovation hub in Ilorin. And some other state governments in the southeast are also doing that. But I don't have an overview of all of these states, so I will not say more than that. But the advice to state governments, regional governments, is that they should do more. I also missed out Katsina and Kano. I was at ABU last week, and one of the economic advisors to the governor of Katsina State was a presenter, and he spoke about what the government was doing for young people in Katsina State. So I believe that there are pockets of this all around. What I would love to see is regional integration. So rather than just say by states, we begin to see northwest, northeast, south, south, southeast, and then see how we can then collaborate to do more so that young people have access to the resources they need. At the local government level, I don't know so much, but I believe that with the kind of funds that local governments are receiving at this time, they should begin to see how they can accelerate development, especially among young people. It will curb banditry. It will curb vices. It would result to boosting productivity. It will enhance tourism in those areas. And I believe that they already know that. And so the resources they are getting now should not be for private sharing. It should be to accelerate young people's involvement in entrepreneurship. And I believe that that would help the country generally.
I know that a lot of issues around financing and all of that are not issues that can be addressed overnight. And they are, gradual process. But you've identified the credit core. Also, the credit guarantee initiative is something that, many have talked about in recent times. But now, youths as agents of change, looking deep into the theme again is what I'm also digging deep into. Do you see youth creating the needed solutions, the kind of necessary solutions for this time and age?
Yes, I believe sincerely in the strength of young people, individually and collectively. Individually, we have great ideas. Collectively, we have massive opportunities. But I must also say that the atmosphere does not look like it favors young people to grow and thrive. So we have a challenge, for example, and this is significant in this slide, not a political angle, but in the youth angle. We see what happened to an older citizen and how the case was handled, and I mean the Ibom head issue, and we see how Comfort was handled. It sends a message to people, to young people, that we are not relevant in the scheme of things. And so if older people can be treated there was a time I wrote an article about a land where older men do not lie would land in lies. And so when we transport our social and our cultural values of, elders cannot lie, and we bring it into our institutions, it begins to tell us that, we are not valued, and so we cannot call out lies. And so I believe that the federal government and all stakeholders generally should begin to look at how to support young people to take away that mentality, because it's our reality. A young person can do something and gets instant punishment. An older person gets delayed punishment or no punishment at all. But I believe that young people have potentials. There are dreams, there are ideas, but we need those opportunities. And unfortunately, the private sector alone cannot accelerate those opportunities. We need the support of the government. And I believe that the Ministry of Youth is doing a lot in that area. I've seen some of their programs. But because of the deficits that we have had over many years, it now looks like all they're doing is like a drop in a bucket. But I believe that with time and consistency, if there are opportunities for young people to not just air those ideas, because I've attended forums where they invite young people and young people talk about their great ideas and it ends there. There is no follow-up, there is no support, there is no hand-holding, and so those ideas just go off the ticket. I believe that we need more support as young people, and this is not a beggarly idea or an entitlement mentality, because many times people say, young people just want things served to them easily. No, there are young people that are struggling daily to make ends meet, to support their families, to even support the economy. And I even believe that generally, aside the big tickers that we have in manufacturing and all of that, most of the effects that comes into Nigeria come through young people. We know the services that they provide and all of that. And so, yes, definitely I believe in this time and age that young people are capable of doing great things.
Are they being recognized talking about contributions and contributions to Nigeria's economy, not just even Nigeria. Let's look at their role in the SME space, look at their role in the tech sector, and of course, fintech, tech, and all of that. We can go on and on. We see how youths play so well, but do you think they are well recognized and appreciated?
Thank you so much. So if I use the age bracket that Nigeria uses, 18 to 29, based on the National Youth Policy, I would say no. We're young people, I want to include myself, young people are not being recognized enough. But if we extend that age bracket to, let's say, 40, then we could say, okay, they are being recognized, because there are awards for 30 under 30, 40 under 40. Young people are doing great things and they're being recognized. Also, with respect to political position, because my firm belief is that one government policy can crumble every success that has been achieved over years. And so involvement of young people in politics, yes, but I would say that that is not enough. Having a young person, one minister under 40 in the administration, we want to see more young people in that space. Recently, I wrote an article also that organizations that don't include young people in their media strategy, in their sales strategy, may lose out of the market, except you're only tending to old people. And even we understand that young people are even the ones that facilitate most of the traits that we have. They encourage their parents to do things. And so we are not in that area being recognized enough in positions. And I don't think that is right. The fact that some young people have messed up in the past does not say we should generalize and say, oh, all other young people are incapable of doing great things. And so politically, I would say we are not there yet. Economically, I would say, oh, we are fine. When you go to many organizations, in fintech, in the finance industry generally, young people are the ones running the show. Yes, they need the experience of the older people, which is inevitable. But you see that most of the operational stuff are done by young people. So yes, they are getting their recognition in that light. Socially, I would believe that yes, if you look at arts, entertainment, many young people are doing fantastic job over there. But if we would talk about spotlighting them on a national scale, no. For example, the national honor, the national award that was just released, I was hoping I was going to see more young people in entertainment, in technology, in arts, in entrepreneurship, people that are doing significantly well in Africa, in Nigeria, all over the world, and see how we can make them examples. And when we do spotlight them, it encourages people back home to say, oh, I want to be like this, I want to also be spotlighted, and then action to begin to correlate with those goals. So I believe that no, we're not being recognized enough, and I'm just imputing myself as a young person because I'm generally a young person too.
Yes, I am also a young person. We are both young, so it's our time, it's our week. We should enjoy it. But finally, before I let you go, let's set an agenda. What do you think? What are those 1, 2, 3 quick wins you think government could, maybe get into to, win the heart of the youth more into them? But for me, I see this administration as more youth-friendly. We have a Minister of Youth, at least for the first time, who is really a youth. There's a time we used to have very senior-minded people that used to hold that position. Older men, that used to, hold that position. But for now, we have someone like that. We have series of special advisors who can go on and on and on. Even the Minister of Communications is a youth. Can call him a youth. You understand what I'm saying? Yes. And, going ahead, look at, like I said, essays, look at heads of agencies, Naseni, the new guy at NERC. I can go on and on. This guy, some are under 30 now. Smedan. Yeah. Thank you. So what do you think and what more can be done?
Okay, so significantly, we want more inclusion. Young people should be more included. And this inclusion should also be diverse. Should not just be from one segment, should not be from one particular cluster, but we need diversity. Young people who are women also, young people who are persons living with disability. If you cannot trust us today to handle the economy, then when would you begin to trust us? When do you want us to emerge? And so we need lots of that in the political space. For economic, I would say, in the economic space, I would say basically young people only need the basic support. Let's up our game with infrastructure. I cannot imagine what we can achieve with access to 24-hour power supply, with access to internet in even rural areas. It's just enormous what can be done. And so we need those things. And unfortunately, we don't have enough private patient capital to develop those sectors, and so we rely on the government to do that. Thirdly is that we need engagements. So it's not just calling meetings and just saying, oh, young people are invited, but within that invitation space, what are our roles? Yes, you can invite us to come and hear and we speak and all of that, but are we included like Joseph? I like to go back through the Bible and see that many of the people that did exploits, even in the Bible, even in Nigeria, were young people. Joseph was 17 when he began to do great things. David was also, we even had a king that was 8 years and his reign was reckoned to be good. And even in Nigeria, most of those military officers, I was reading that time when I was in Kwara Poly, around 2004, 2005, and I saw that there were many of these military men that became key stakeholders in their 20s. So we cannot wait till we're 40. For example, I would love to attend NIPS, but I need to be 40 to be able to attend that. At 40, then I'll now begin to say, okay, I want to attend NIPS. Whereas I think we should be changing the dates and moving it backwards a bit to maybe late 20s and early 30s. And so within those spaces, I believe that changes can be done, but we need greater participation in politics and in the economy.
Dr. Femi Oladele, lead coach, more by Meristem. Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure having you join the program. Enjoy
Thank
the
you
rest
so
of your
much
day.
for having me.
And enjoy Abuja.